Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the Panther. It's the Tier 7 German medium tank. It's located on the eastbourne of Paris and it's under the command of SlyMeerkat, and he's got 2 marks of excellence on the barrel of his L100 gun. Oh no. Oh no. It's the Japanese crew. Run everyone, run! Yes, they're probably wearing their schoolgirl uniforms, their naval uniforms. Oh dear, oh dear. Yes, that's the crew that goes in the Panther Mark IV, I think, the fear. But yes, it certainly puts the fear into me to hear those Japanese voices. Terrible, terrible thing that Wargaming did there. Oh, look at that! Fired a round in, looks like it hit, but unfortunately we've just been hit by the Progetto instead. It got smacked by a 90mm round. Well, I can tell from the length of the barrel that this is the L100 gun. It's the KWK 45 L100, which is an incredibly long barrel, but it does have reasonably good penetration on the enemy. Probably see here with the standard AP, it will do 198mm of armor, but it's only got a 135 alpha, and with the APCR rounds it can do 244. So you can see good pen, and it is a sniper tank as well. It's kind of a sniper. It doesn't have very good armor though, that's the thing. Only 120mm at the front of the turret, 85 at the front of the hull. Oh, he's going for a G-saw. Now you've got to watch out with the G-saw. Of course, he's got 4 shots that he can fire back, and they're all 105mm. Getting the IS. Not having much trouble penetrating. The only problem is the Panther doesn't have good DPM. You think if I talk loud enough, I can actually overtalk those Japanese girls. I'm afraid there's nothing I can do to switch them off. I really don't know how Sly can actually play with those horrible voices. Oh dear. You can see at the moment, basically, all he's doing is sniping any targets of opportunity the moment they come into view. But it just takes forever with the bad alpha, and it is only 135. And the reason I say that's bad is, in comparison, the T-34-85 has 180 alpha, 50 more, and well, 45 more. But of course, that's a tier 6 with a 85mm gun. This is a 75mm gun, so it's not very good when it comes to alpha. And DPM is a bit lacking as well, because it doesn't have much more DPM than the VK3002M, which is the tank that actually derived this one. And you also need to remember that Wargaming actually created the Britann Panther and the Poodle, and they're both basically Panthers based on the VK3002M. Captured Panthers. I think I'm just gradually losing the will to live with those Japanese voices constantly. Not that I've got nothing against Japanese people. I've just got a lot against these Japanese schoolgirls. Oh dear. We can see so far he's managed to accumulate 1,710 hit points, but a huge number of hits to do it. And he's actually been using this foliage quite well to actually get shots, because the enemy is not seeing him, even though he's actually getting in lots and lots of shots on them. Well, with no tracks, no engine noise rather, because of course the fault that Wargaming has. We can't actually hear the vehicle moving, but we can certainly hear the effects, and unfortunately we can hear those girls. The team are doing well at the moment because he's 3 up on the enemy, and he's now racked up just under 2k. Steel Waffenträger, no armor. He'll easily punch through, but the Waffenträger fires an 88mm round back, and he's out the game. He just got taken out by the T-34-3. Okay. T-34-3 must have been using the other corner at the time. Oh, we just took a big hit from the Caliban, though. That was not good. And I get the feeling that Slice decided he's going to try and outmaneuver that Caliban. The only problem is there is an enemy T-29 nearby. Oh, it was the other T-34-3 that actually got the kill on that Waffenträger. He's just around the corner. Now watch out. Oh, that was a ram kill. The T-34-3, the other one, actually got the ram kill on the Caliban. And now we've got the T-29 where we want them, because, yeah, got them on the side. They were distracted. And that means now there's only 5 enemies left. They've got a G-Saw, a T-44, a Centurion 1, a T-34-2 GFT, and a Type 62. So not much left. And I have the feeling that Slice decided that it's better for him to go to the center of the map and shoot the enemy in the field, because that's probably where they are. In fact, we know the Centurion and the T-44 are in the field, because that's where they've just been spotted. Slice trying to decide which way he should go round. Okay, the Peregrine's just gone around the corner and found the G-Saw. The G-Saw's ducked into the corner to protect himself, and he just got taken out by the T-34-3, the other one. Okay, now from the center here we can take on the enemy tanks that are in sight. There's one of them, the Centurion. Tries to get him. Unfortunately, all we can see is the hull and the top of the hull. Top of the turret. Oh, good shot there. T-34-2 GFT felt that one. Okay, we've got this Type 62 just around the corner. No. Get him on again. The reload's quite quick. It's 3.84 by the book. You can see Slice got it down to 3 seconds. That's not so bad. And that Type 62 is now an easy kill. So he just needs to get round them, put 2 rounds into him. That's one. And second one to kill. Yep, got him. Now it's just the last one, the Centurion. And we can shut those girls up for once and all. Well, thank goodness that that battle is over. I didn't think that I could stand those Japanese girls any longer. It was an ace tanker game for SlyMeerkat in the Panther. He got his 3rd mark of excellence from that game, as well as the spotter badge for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage, a fire effect for doing more damage than hit points for his own vehicle, a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he managed to get 6. And he got a Confederate as well for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. And his win rate was 8,968, which is Super Unicum standard. Let's have a look at team score. The high score, the high caliber, actually went to the T-29, who got 4,373 hit points from the bridge area. The second highest damage in the game turned out to be Sly with 3,176, followed by this tank, which of course I don't know which one that actually is. No idea, actually. It just says Vertigo. That's all I can say. I don't know who it is, but they got 3,032 hit points. Somebody will probably tell me. It may be a Gonzalo or something like that. It can't be a Gonzalo because it's a tier 7 game. Whoop. And the highest number of kills turned out to be the T-34-3, who managed to get 4. 3 kills went to Sly and also to the T-25AT. And 2 kills went to the T-34-3, the T-29, the Caliban, and the Centurion 1. When it came to base XP, it's Sly who got that one with 1,490, the only player to get over 1,000, followed by the unknown tank, no idea who that is, 889 to the T-25AT. I should mention, actually, that the T-25AT is not. He's actually in 4th place, because the enemy T-29 came above him in 3rd place with 942. Sly fired 43 rounds in that game, mostly from behind that tree where the enemy just couldn't see him. 35 direct hits on the enemy and 25 penetration. It's got a bit of a subpar penetration. Well, I did say the pen's good, but it's not quite as good as other tanks, and the alpha's not quite as good, and that's why this tank, it does penetrate on tanks below tier 7, but it's again, you need to be firing the premium ammo if you're going to get decent hits. 3,176 hit points of damage, of which 975 were at more than 300 meters. He received 3 hits from the enemy, 2 of them penetrated, 1 non-penetration, and 1 hit by way of splash. The armor is not very good. You'll see that in the armor profile. 320 hit points of damage blocked by armor, 2 enemy vehicles spotted, 10 enemy vehicles damaged, 3 killed, 2,228 hit points of spotting assist. He earned 59,333 credits from battle, 29,666 from personal reserves, so a total of 88,999 altogether. But you can see he fired a massive amount of APCR in that game because he was trying to maximize the damage to get his 3rd mark, and he did. But he actually suffered the loss of the battle of 43,839 credits. 2,235 XP and no multipliers, so that's all the experience points he took away. So let's have a quick look at the armor profile for the Panther. Okay, there's the page, and you can see that it's actually, the front plate is actually 85 millimeters, but it's well raked back. This is basically something that was designed to counter the T-34. They raked the front of the tank just like the T-34. Not quite as much angling as the T-34, but it was good enough to do the job of actually causing shells to bounce off it, or at least blocking them. You can see lower plate 50 millimeters actually coming in at 104. If you look at this thing straight on, you can see that's better. You can see the upper plate is actually quite good. Then the mantlet, or the area around the front of the turret, you can see 120 millimeters, but it's coming out effective 124. This is the with the L100 gun, it's of course got that rounded mantlet rather than the one that cuts across, which you see on the VK, on the Poodle and the Bretagne Panther, and all the other Panthers based on the VK3002M. Sides of the vehicle 50 millimeters, so they're fairly weak. You ideally want a very, very slight angling when you're actually aiming at the enemy to improve your frontal armor, and also to make this ricochet on the enemy. The cupola is, again, it's a weakish spot because it's 60 millimeters. You can see there the base of the cupola is 120 millimeters, but the actual bit of the cupola, it's a smaller cupola than normal, but it's still enough to actually penetrate, and it's 60 millimeters coming out at 100. The size, as I said, 50 millimeters all the way down the back. There's a slight angling at the rear, but it's only 40 going up to 50. Engine deck is very penetrable, 16 millimeters thick, and the turret is 40 millimeters thick. So if you can, aim for the engine deck of the Panther rather than the turret, because the turret's a little stronger, but you should be able to penetrate both. It does have skirts on the side here, Schussen, and they act as spaced armor. You can see 5 millimeters, 25 millimeters, and 40 millimeters. So it's coming out as 75 overall, just from the 50 millimeters on the actual impacted armor. Right, so that's the collision model. Let's have a look at the live model. Yeah, pretty penetrable, especially by anyone who's firing the L100 gun, the 75 millimeter. They're just going to go zip straight through that. So it is a sniper rather than a brawling tank, and it, although it does have fairly good maneuverability, it's better at actually ramming enemy tanks that are lighter than it, because it is fairly heavy. It's 48 tons, and that's more like a heavy tank than a medium tank in many ways, but it can get up to 55 kilometers an hour and then use that speed to ram the enemy to death fairly quickly. The hull is shaped well for ramming. You can see that big V-shaped front, which really does help. Okay, let's have a quick look at the modules. Okay, the modules, that's better. You can see the transmission's up front, just in front of the driver and the driver's mate, which is also the radio operator. We've got the ammo racks in the shoulders of the tank, running along the sides on either side, so just below the turret in the body of the tank. We can see the gunner on the right-hand side with the tank commander directly behind him using that cupola. And on the left-hand side of the turret, as we're looking at it, we've got the loader shoveling the shells into the breach. Now, it's not showing the ready rack, but I believe there were shells in the rear of the Panther. Or am I thinking about the Tiger II? I may be thinking about the Tiger II, but you can see the ammo racks actually run down both sides of the tank. At the rear, we've got the engine sandwiched between two fuel tanks. And of course, as I mentioned in one of the previous videos, we've got a third fuel tank, which is actually right behind the engine. And fuel can be used as an armor, but of course, that fuel tank there is right next door to 3 exhaust ports or exhaust pipes. So that fuel must be getting heated by the exhaust coming out of the engine as it's routed to the back of the tank. They did actually manufacture this tank from January 1943 until April 1945 by Waffen-Ant, but they were actually produced by the British because they took over the production line and they kept manufacturing some Panthers. I think they made something like 15 of them in total, or maybe more, and some Panthers were actually made after the war by other factories who were actually looking to resupply their military with a reasonably good tank after the war, just to have something as a stopgap. But the British actually manufactured the Panthers so that they could do various testing on them back in the UK, and they needed proper Panthers. And the one that's actually at Bovingdon is one of the ones that was actually manufactured after the war, using German personnel and British personnel working together. And you can, as has been pointed out by Jingles, you can see where the tank was actually worked on by the Germans, because it's actually pristine work. And you can tell where the British were working on it because they've just sort of like bodged anything together to get it to finish the job. And yes, it's very obvious where the British influence has been on the Panthers because it's substandard work. But mind you, I think the British who were working on the Panther just wanted to get the tanks out, whereas the Germans, well, they had some pride in their work and they were actually producing something which they've been producing for years, but which was built to a specific standard, and they wanted it to remain at that standard. But they weren't obviously putting the all of the parts onto the vehicle because it's post-war. They just didn't need to do everything necessary for it to go into combat. So it wasn't needed to put all the bells and whistles on it. And in fact, actually, they only painted it with 30% of the paint that it actually needed because, of course, they were short on paint by then. So I hope you enjoyed that replay. Congratulations to SlyMeerkat for getting his 3rd mark of excellence. Please do not take those girls off this tank and put them on another tank. That would drive me insane. I really do hope I never hear them again. It really is grinding. It's like it's nails on a chalkboard to me, I'm afraid. And so please, please, please don't put those girls in any other tank. And then I won't have to listen to them. If you enjoyed that replay, please give it a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.